Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Atri, My Dear Moments. Things really got serious in the last episode in multiple ways. Not only did Natsuki and Atri proceed with growing their relationship between one another, well, Natsuki decided to crumble the relationship up and throw it away because he read her logs and found out that the emotions and feelings and everything that she has been throwing out have just been falsified, which makes sense. She's not human. And a lot of what she's been writing down is, hey, this made him happy, let's continue doing this or whatever, and acting like this. Because at the end of the day, it's all algorithms. There's no actual human behind, all of that. So now we're at a really awkward area. I don't know where things can go, but we also have Atri dying in just 2 weeks. That is what the end of the month indicates. We also now know that. So a lot of the truth has come out. How things will go now, I have absolutely no idea. After I lost my mother and my leg in that crash, I was sent to rest at my mother's old home. They said that I should go somewhere quiet and peaceful to rest. It was a beautiful coastal town where a gentle sea breeze always blew. The endless, changeless days soothed me as I coped with the shock of loss. But though I did not show it on the surface, I kept a great well of despair built up deep inside of me. Even as I struggled with the pain and the sadness, my father did not come to see me even once. I realized that he had abandoned me, and knowing this, I chose to die. Damn, we really are in the past. Or are we? I remember the view from that cliff top was breathtaking. I guess we're not there, or maybe we are there. Yeah, we're in the past. This is definitely not what the town looks like anymore. We have an actual beach here. Just an endless horizon. My wheelchair creaks as I wheel it up the unpaved path. The cliff isn't high enough to kill anybody who falls from it on impact. But below it is nothing but deep blue sea. If I fall from here in my wheelchair, no one can save me. I want this to be the last thing I see before I die. My mother always used to take me here when we went for walks. It's a place that's so full of happy memories for me. Huh? There's already someone standing on the precipice. Her silver hair flutters in the wind, glowing gold in the soft light of the sunset. She's beautiful. She seems to be 4 or 5 years older than I am. She's taller than me, yet somehow her face seems so innocent compared to mine. She's standing right on the edge. A deep sadness shades the light in her eyes. She starts to step forward. Instinctively, I call out to her. It's interesting, A little bit of hypocrisy, but wait. She turns and stares down at me before starting to speak, a strange lack of despair in her voice.
手伝っていただけませんか?背中を押してほしいのです。私は自分で飛び降りることができません。
No way. I don't want to kill you. I'd be arrested for murder, or at least assisting your suicide. If you don't even have the courage to jump, you shouldn't try to kill yourself.
いえ、勇気の問題では。
If you're not prepared to jump, that means you have something you still want to do in this world. In that case, you should deal with that before you kill yourself. Even as an elementary school child, I had no compunctions about talking down to an older girl like that.
一理あると推測できます。私の未練とは。
Well, don't ask me. Anyway, you're in my way. This is my cliff.
はあ、ここは私有地でしたか。
Well, no, it's not really that either, but she moves out of the way. I try to wheel myself to the edge, but I'm completely stuck in the mud. The girl silently moves behind me and starts to push.
ここでよろしいでしょうか。
Yeah, great. She leaves me in exactly the position she was in. I feel even more pitiful knowing that I had to have someone's help simply to die. I'm fine now, so can you go away? She doesn't leave. She came here for some reason too, of course. Didn't you hear me? Go away.
あなたはここで何をなさるのですか?
What does it matter to you?
もし命を捨てるのなら、全力で止める義務が私にはあります。
God damn, there are so many hints here that she's a humanoid. Huh? What do you mean?
そう命じられたからです。
If she really desperately wanted to stop me, I'd understand. But the way she's talking about it as a duty is strange and slightly uncanny. Didn't she just try to kill herself?
未練はないのですか？未練があるなら、まだ死を選ぶべきではないと推測できます。いかがでしょう？よく思い出してみてください。
Oh, we're crying now.
ああ、
The girl looks at me with concern as I suddenly start to cry. I start to sob and moan without so much as trying to wipe away my tears. My dad is too busy saving the world to even see me. It's a really, really important job, I know. I know humanity doesn't have much time left. The Earth is more important than me.
はあ。
And we're crying more. Any pretense I had of acting older than my tender years disappears as I burst into floods of tears. In an instant, I am a child again. The girl simply looks at me, unsure of what to do. She tries to calm me down, stretching out a hand in some kind of awkward gesture. Finally, she grabs me in frustration. Aw, man. She pulls me into an embrace.
よしよし。もう大丈夫だから。
Yeah, I would love the CG and everything if, I don't know. I mean, there's always been something in the back of my mind that's always telling me that Atri's just a robot. She doesn't have feelings, and that's been cemented now into all of us as we proceed forward. That, is this gesture truly, kindness? Or is it just her doing what she needs to do to prevent a suicide? It feels so strange. Almost like this isn't the first time that she's held me like this. My wailing grows even louder and less restrained. The more I cry, the more my heart fills with words I want to say. I wail and sob as I pour my heart out, and I have no idea what pain spilled from my mouth, but I'm sure that it was full of love for my mother, pleas for my father, and hate for my grandmother. Eventually, I have only one thing left to say. I'm going to go to school and study.
学校？
I'm going to go to that big place, the academy, and I'm going to study so much.
何のために？
I have to save the world. If I don't, well, I'll never be saved myself. I'm so pitiful. My father has abandoned me. If he doesn't save the world, I won't be saved either. That's why he won't come to see me. I have to be something other than just pitiful. I should be the one to save the world. If I do that, I'll save myself too. The girl suddenly says something very strange.
急に私も含まれますか？
It's almost like she doesn't believe she deserves to be a part of the world. Like she shouldn't exist. Well, she did come here planning to throw herself from the cliff. She must be suffering the same way I am, or maybe even worse. I stare at her. Into those eyes, the color of blood. Somewhere in their crimson depths, I can sense a profound well of sadness. She wants to be saved. That's what kept her from jumping. How can I save you?
喜びを教えてください。私が喜ぶことができたら、マスターは救われます。
So I just have to make you smile. Huh. Can you try smiling just to see what it looks like? We've been through this already. When people are happy, they smile, right? Maybe it works in reverse. If you smile, you'll become happy.
Huh?
Sorry guys, it's not how it works, trust me. I force a smile. In that moment, a feeling that I've never experienced wells up in my chest. An overwhelming elation, a cry of the heart telling me to live on. For the first time, I discover what it feels like to fall in love. Oh, buddy, what a fucking trap you fell into. It was like a single bright ray of light shining through the darkness. And now we're back into that darkness. And what a muggy darkness it is. What a rough situation we found ourselves in. Because I really don't know how we can proceed here. Soon the sunrise comes. It's already morning. People always say that I have the eyes of a killer, but today I get the feeling that I look more like a ghost. I groan a crackly death rattle. My throat is so dry that I feel like a corpse. I've been poring sleeplessly throughout my grandmother's research all night. There was no point trying to sleep. Currently, I hate you. That is what she said. What's wrong with just wanting a peaceful life? It's not like I've given up on trying to save Atri. After all, my night of research has led me to one particularly important clue. What a bright-ass fucking book. I found a file among the piles of research notes with a single word on its cover. Eden. What the fuck? Concept for humankind migrating to floating cities, plan for self-sustaining seastead, prototype construction. A seastead is an artificial floating island on which human settlements are built. In a manner of speaking, my ship is my own seastead. It has the benefit of being able to adapt to rising and falling sea levels. These plans, however, are for something much, much larger than this boat. These seem to detail, not seems, to detail a floating island that could carry an entire town. And these kind of projects are pretty common, and some examples of seasteads have already been built. My grandmother's plan has one big difference, however: self-sustainability. The seastead would contain everything necessary to support a full community without needing to import supplies. It would be an artificial island on a scale previously unheard of, equipped with systems to manufacture food and water and recycle waste. Like the Garden of Eden, it would be an entirely new starting point for humanity. I never knew my grandmother was involved with such an important project. But that's not the thing I'm surprised about the most. I recognize this island. Yeah, look at that tower right there. That looks a little familiar, like we saw something, you know? We saw a little something the other day. The photographs tracking the construction of the first prototype instantly take me back to that time. There it is. That time that we encountered the Phantom Island in the mist. Eden was calling to Atri. That can't have been a coincidence, and neither was it something magical. Atri and the island were communicating through some kind of data transfer. I believe it. That's what I'm supposed to do, isn't it, grandmother? I have to take Atri to that place. There she might be able to complete her last order, and she'll be saved. Well, I don't know about that last part, but Atri. Atri is sleeping alone in the bed. Just like the other day, she isn't making a sound, she isn't breathing. It's like she's an empty, soulless husk. Atri, wake up, Atri. I uneasily reach over to jostle her. She lets out a happy little snooze. Relief wells in my chest. Nope, she's her normal self, I guess. Her adorable mumbling soothes me ever so slightly. I just can't believe that you don't have a heart. I stroke her hair, gazing at that angelic face. You do have one, I'm sure. I still believe. Or maybe I just want to believe. People don't look for the truth. They merely look for what they want to see. Even now, even now, I'm sure I'm just searching for I'm searching her expressionless face for whatever I want to find. You were trying to kill yourself back then. That was our first meeting. Stricken with the trauma that no child should have to deal with, I had decided to die. But Atri was already there when I arrived. I didn't have the slightest inkling that she was a humanoid. What kind of a robot tries to kill itself? That was why she asked me to push her. At the time, I just thought she didn't have the courage. No, she literally couldn't. She did not have the programming in order to do so. What on earth happened to you, Atri? What could make a humanoid want to commit suicide? Her reasons have likely been long forgotten, along with many of her other memories. But there's one thing I can say for sure. Back then, you must have felt the same deep despair that I did. How could she feel such an emotion without a heart? Would it be worth having a heart if all you could feel was misery?
喜びを教えてください。
She spoke in such a monotone way back then as well. Does being with me not make you happy? When I direct the question to the sleeping Atri, she screws up her face in discomfort.
夏希さん、
She blinks sleepily.
おはようございます。
Atri, smile for me.
わかりました。
She gives me a wide, slobbery smile. I wipe off the spittle with my sleeve. Is that what I looked like when I smiled for you back then?
はい、そうだったと推測できます。
She replies in a half yawn. I wonder what happened between what we saw in the previous episode to now.
夏希さん、
Are we just like in a really weird like limbo state in how we're acting with one another, you know? Thanks. I take her hand and let her pull me up onto the pier. She's been completely expressionless all morning. It's natural seeing as I ordered her to do so. I've told her I've told her not to use fake emotions when she's alone with me, but to keep up appearances around everyone else. So far, she has obeyed that perfectly.
一つ質問があるのですが、
What?
私と夏希さんはまだ恋人同士ということでよろしいのでしょうか？
Given that she has no heart, naturally her romantic feelings for me were nothing but an act too. I'm fine with whatever, if that's what you want. My feelings have not changed.
私に異論はありません。夏希さんのために尽くすだけです。
Well, thanks. I don't know how I feel about that, you know? I really don't. Although her expression is completely blank, we're still holding hands as we always do. Atri is my leg, no matter what the situation is between us.
夏希さん、これを。
Atri opens up the post box on the pier and hands me a letter. It's for me. Who could be sending me letters? I look at the sender and freeze up.
どうされました？
Is it Papa? It's nothing. Let's go. I stuff the letter into my bag and walk down the pier hand in hand with Atri. It's gotta be his dad. I mean, come on. We have to incorporate him into the story, right?
が、その前に期末テストをします。
That was terrible. I'm not lowering the volume for that. You guys get to hear how fucking loud that was too. Everyone cries out in despair. You don't say. It's the sound of a class that's swelled to almost 30 students having their hearts broken.
かったりよテストなんてよ。
そうだそうだ。
私はちょっとやりたいな。
みなももいつもテスト嫌いって言ってたじゃん、裏切り者。
Oh, she just wants to live the full school life.
なんか学校っぽいから。
そういうことよ。学校ごっこをしてるんじゃない。その体裁を整えるためにはテストは必須。そこで全国共通テストをやることにしたわ。
The NSA is is a standardized test that the Ministry of Education has put in place. It's intended to measure the average test scores across regions and improve the general level of education across the country. Sounds good to me. If we can produce some good scores, it might help to keep the school running.
当然ずるはなし。実力勝負。
Okay, I guess that's all she's saying for 2 sentences.
マジかよ。俺らまともに授業やれてなかったってのに。
りゅうちゃんはちゃんとした授業でもまともに受けないと思うんだ。
ピリカおめえ言うようになったじゃねえか。
アトリちゃん、テストだって。試験、すなわち性能テストですね。ロボットの保険に関わる問題です。やるなら全力です。おお、アトリンやる気だな。私も頑張るぞ。
Catherine is likely doing this with half an eye on getting Rurika into the academy. trying to get good grades might push her to study even more. I'm looking forward to seeing what Atri can do too. I suppose that seeing a gifted student get good marks is one of the appeals of being a teacher.
そういうわけだから、今日から期末テストまで試験対策期間とします。みんな頑張るように。
期末テストが終わったら夏休みだ。しゃあね、頑張るか。
頑張ろ
As much as nobody really wants to have to do tests, everyone seems pretty happy to be doing something typically student-y.
あんたにも受けてもらうわよ。平均点を上げるのに貢献してね。
Well, of course, I'm technically a student here after all. Yeah, I mean, he will actually be like a deciding factor. The first lesson of exam prep soon comes to a close. I head up alone to the roof. I'm carrying with me the envelope I received this morning. The sender is marked as Ikaruga Natsuki, my father. The letter inside, the first communication that I've had with him in years, says two things. The first is simply a short, nonchalant declaration. I have made arrangements for you to go back to the academy. I'll do something about the tuition fees. Okay. The other is a simple request. Be watching on August 31st. Jesus. That's the day of the rocket launch. And that's it. That's our letter. That's our big letter. Our first bit of communication from old Papa. Beautiful. I stare off into the sky. An enormous, I don't even know, hangs over the horizon against a background of brilliant blue. Sorry guys, I'm not in the mood to try and pronounce shit that I know I'm going to pronounce correctly, or incorrectly. And I try to picture what it would look like with the vapor trail of a rocket streaking across it. Yet I cannot do it. I wonder when I lost the ability to imagine a rocket shooting off into the future like that. I mean, we've all heard or watched videos or maybe even seen of rocket launches. So, yeah, I don't know, but we're also not really in the end times. Heading back to class, I find the other students have split off into year groups and pushed their desks together. They're working on mock test questions as part of Catherine's plan to get us ready. Atri scuttles busily from table to table.
ここはですね、こうやって解くんです。いいですか？は
あ、なるほど。アトリッチは賢いロボットさんだね。
高性能ですから。
Atri's grades have been risen to become the best among all of the students. She's been helping out the other students while I've been out of the classroom.
夏希先生帰ってきた。ねえねえ、これ教えて。夏くん、私もわからないところがあるの。
I still depended on,
ど
heavily.
こ行ってたんだよ夏。サボりか？この程度のテストお前なら朝飯前だろうけど。
You know, it's interesting. You know, he's taken a bit of a break, I guess you can say, from the life that he was living, you know? Going to the academy and, you know, in hopes of being able to save the world, to improve upon himself. But then he gave up. He came here. But now he's being, you know, basically given an opportunity to go back. Like, there'd be no issue, right? So this time away, this time that he spent here, you know, you'll have to leave it behind. This will have just been a little summer vacation away from the life of which he was living. And that's it's a little bittersweet to think of it that way. Maybe a little. Waving everyone away, I take my seat.
どうしたんだよお前。顔色が悪いぞ。なんか心配事か？
I got a letter from my father.
親父？あのロケットのか？
He says that he's made arrangements for me to go back to the academy. The room falls silent. Everyone glances around uneasily.
夏希先生、転校していっちゃう？
That is darn right.
いなくなっちゃうの？
そんなのやだ。
As everyone else flinches, unsure of how to react, Ryuji alone shouts out joyfully.
よかったじゃねえか。お前はこんなところにいる器じゃねえよ。
そうだよ。おめでとう、夏
Everyone joins in the congratulations. Nothing's been decided yet, I just got the letter.
とても、とーってもいいことです。そうしましょうよ、夏希さん。夏希さんは地球を救うんでしょ？
Yeah. Just as I ordered her to, she acts completely normal around everyone else. It's hard for me to respond to her fake feelings the way I used to, though.
そうなると、寂しくなるね。夏希先生、お手紙書くね。
The fuck was that? What was that, Ryuji? Come on now.
好きなの飲めよ。俺のおごりだ。
After school, Ryuji takes me into the market to the candy store that he regularly hangs out at. We sit on the bench sipping on room temperature cola.
冷てえソーダが飲みてえな。
When it's this lukewarm, the sweetness of the cola sticks unpleasantly in your throat. After a couple of gulps, Ryuji starts up a conversation.
よかったじゃないか。親父さんから連絡があって。
I wonder about that. He's obviously giving his all to that rocket launch. I hear that they've been struggling for cash thanks to all the opposition, and he's even been putting his salary back into the project.
でも学費を工面してくれたんだろ？
I was surprised to hear that, but maybe now that the launch has been confirmed, their costs have gone down somehow. I suppose he's trying to make up for never doing anything else father-like in his life. He just wants to assuage his guilt. As much as I understand that, I no longer have the energy to put up any direct resistance.
それだって冗だろ。どうでもいい相手なら罪の意識なんて湧いてこない。
Sorry, I was getting a drink of water. He might be right. As much as I don't want to admit it, I've started to understand just a little bit about how my father must feel. He's just trying to do exactly what I said I had to. The thing is that I really do think that in life, there's sacrifices you have to make, and they look, to the majority, unfair, you know? They look really stupid, the sacrifices that you are willing to make, but I mean, these are the end times, you know? This is not at Evangelion levels of like father-son duo, but it's not healthy either. If I can't save the world, how can I be saved? He suddenly lost his wife and his son was gravely injured. When assailed with such an unreasonable quirk of fate, a person has to find a way to keep on going, lest they completely fall apart. Maybe my father feels he needs to save the world in order to keep from breaking down, even if it means discarding his family. Well, if he can't, it would be a betrayal of his lost wife. I don't want to go back to the academy.
おい、ナツ。
I'm not saying that just because my father is making me. I just want to stay here with you and Minamo and everyone.
ナツ。
This is, well, it's the first time I felt like I could talk to someone like this. It's the first time I've ever enjoyed school, the first time I've ever let myself be supported by other people and support them back.
甘えたりもな。
He grins and reaches out to rustle my hair.
かわいいな、ナツは。
Bro, that is not how you compliment somebody, seriously. Hey, stop that. As embarrassing as I find the way he fools around with me, I can't help but smile back. I'm finally used to life here in this town. I'm not going to throw away the happiness that I found here to go back to the academy.
いや、悪かった。ナツがそう思ってんならいいんだ。
Ryuji doesn't say it, but I can tell that he really was worried that I was just revolting against my father's wishes.
俺だってお前がこの町に残ってくれる方が嬉しい。せっかくダチになれたんだし。
He smiles and takes a swig of cola. Looking at that relieved expression, a resolve wells up in my heart. Ryuji, there's something I want to talk to you about.
なんだよ。珍しいな。
You know the Phantom Island I mentioned before? I want to go there.
なんでまた？
It's not a Phantom Island at all. It's an artificial island my grandmother created, floating across the ocean.
マジかよ。変人だとか魔女だとかいろいろ言われてたけど、のんこばあさんが幽霊島を作ったのか。
Well, it's what she did. I found the notes from its construction in her files. She worked with some organization to build it, but their factories have long sunk.
じゃあやっぱり兵器なのか。要塞みてえな島でミサイルとか積んでて。
Yeah, I don't really know about all that. You've watched too many old movies. The island's a prototype meant to show that it's possible to create an entirely self-sustaining seastead. They call it Eden. My grandmother theorized in the course of her oceanographic research that there would be a mass sea level rise, or there would be mass sea level rises, and she started researching how humanity could live long after that.
お前んとこの一家ってすげえのな。親父さんはロケット。
Honestly, Ryuji makes a really good point there.
でもなんでまたそこに行きたいんだ？
I want to take Atri there. She received some kind of last order from my grandmother, and I want her to be able to fulfill it.
でもよ、あの島には近づこうとした漁船が転覆事故を起こ
I'm
して
trying to remember what the hell his grandmother said to him when she was like dying. Did she actually say something along the lines of like, take Atri to Eden or some stupid shit? I know it'll be dangerous, but that's exactly why I need you.
親友の俺にしか頼めないってか？夏にそこまで言われちゃ断れねえな。
It is crazy how close these two have gotten, because he was one that just didn't seem to, mesh well with anybody. But then we saw that he was, helping Rurika out at the school, and then, he was willing to help us out, and it just,
いつにする？
it just went from there, and it was fantastic. As soon as possible, we don't have much time.
わかった。じゃあ期末テストが終わったらすぐ出発しよ
Nah, fuck the exams. That will be the start of summer break, which sounds perfect to me. It does mean wasting another few precious days
う。
beforehand.
そのアトリはどこに行ったんだ？
She should be back soon. She went off on her own to go get ingredients for dinner. No sooner does Ryuji mention her that she comes tottering along the street, holding her shopping bags. Rather than coming over to us, however, she trots over to the butcher's stall.
くださいな。
あら、いらっしゃい、アトリちゃん。今日も可愛いわね。
はいです。高性能ですから。
学者先生には娘がお世話になってるのよ。コロッケ、おまけしとくわね。
ありがとうございます。
Atri bows to the butcher and walks towards us with a bag full of meat.
夏希さん、お待たせしました。はい、これどうぞ。
She holds the bag of freebies out toward me.
揚げたてです。きっと美味しいです。
Want to share them then? I know you want them for yourself.
どうしてわかったんですか？
そりゃそんなよだれ垂らしそうな顔してりゃあな。
うるさいですよ、アホのリュウジ。
誰がアホだ、ポンコツ。
今度のテストであなたのアホさ加減が明るみになります。
Oh, I'm sure if there's anything math or engineering related, he's got an ace up his sleeve. Even so, he's got none at all.
こいつ。
I watch the two of them go at each other with a smile, but inwardly there's a tinge of sadness in my heart. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice a strange figure. Who the fuck is that? What the fuck? What the hell? This guy looks fucking problematic. Like, in a lot of ways. Being a man who spends most of my time cooped up in my ship, there are a lot of people in this town I don't know. And yet there's something particularly uncanny about that person. An outsider. When he notices my gaze, he calmly sidles off, ducking into the back street. Who was that?
どうした？
It's nothing.
さあ帰りましょう、夏希さん。アホのリュウジとこれ以上接していると夏希さんまでアホになっちゃいましょう。
ああ、そうしろ。さっさと帰って好きなだけイチャつけ。
So I was going to mention, to kind of tie in probably a bit of what Natsuki could be feeling.
花ちゃん先生。
Okay, well, anyways, pause on that, Rurika, please. No, I was just going to mention that I kind of have a similar story where I'm kind of like I'm maybe stuck in it, but maybe I've also advanced forward in a bit. Specifically, whenever I graduated from university, I kind of dropped everything that I was doing there and I worked a completely different job. I went into finance, and while that was fine and everything, I was never really moving up. But I was comfortable. I was happy, But due to some complications, I lost my job. And changes, and very abrupt ones, will definitely happen in life. I'm definitely going to get caught off guard many times in my life, and I'm sure you guys are as well. So when I lost my job, it was really the push that I had to have in order to consider some things. You know, do I go back to what I studied for? Do I continue with what I've been working in? Turns out, yeah, it was the latter, but I moved into some sort of position that it definitely is harder. Things are more challenging, but it utilizes more of what I've learned, not just in what I studied for, good old computer science, but just a lot of things. So you sometimes have to get back to it. I felt like I was having my summer vacation for the, past 3 years or so. And like Natsuki is here. He ran away from the academy. I ran away from what I studied for and got into a comfortable job. But now it's back to it. It's back to grinding. It's back to finding what works best for you, getting back out there. So yeah, abrupt things happen in the world, and I guess abrupt things happen in such a way that even you can lose your leg in a crazy accident. So anyways, a little bit about me.
何？
何してたの？
アカデミーを受験するための資料をね。
それ知ってる。夏希先生の学校だ。
あんたも行くのよ。
Oh yeah, she's still trying.
先生みたいになりたいんだ。
そのためには勉強しないとね。
私勉強好きだよ。面白いもん。
生徒がみんなあんたみたいだと先生も楽なんだけどね。
テストみんな頑張るって言ってるよ。成績が悪いと学校なくなっちゃうんでしょ。そんなのやだもんな。
そうね。あんただけじゃなくみんなでいい点取って堂々と胸張って続けていけるといいわね。私の生活的にも。ここクビになったら次はないわ。
ドンマイ、花ちゃん。
その名前で呼ぶな。どうしたの？
外にね、知らない人がいる。
Oh, is it the man?
知らない人？
God damn it, it is. Whoa, he has a fucking wacky ass hand.
誰よあれ。町の人間じゃなさそうね。
うん、見たことないぞ。
でもどこかで見たような。
And there he goes.
逃げた。怪しいやつだ。
あの男。
Was that who? Don't leave me in suspense. God damn it, game. When we return to the ship, Atri takes the shopping bags into the kitchen.
お腹が空いているでしょ。
You
す
know,
ぐに食事の用意をします。
I'll throw a prediction around. What if that is actually his dad? What if it's Natsuki's father? Because, here's a big question. How the fuck do you send mail in this, apocalyptic world, Great, thanks. I guess post-apocalyptic with the seas rising, but thanks to Minamo and the cooking club, Atri's cooking skills have improved greatly. I'm able to leave the dinner preparations to her quite comfortably now. When exams are over, we're going to Eden. We might just be able to retrieve some of your memories if we do. And we might have to stay the night there, so get together the things you'll need. I don't like that look. Atri stares down at the ingredients lined up in front of her. Like, that's actually something that really freaks me out, going into visual novels, is whenever their eyes just go blank. I hate that so much. It is fucking terrifying in some cases. She's completely still, like a lifeless doll. What's wrong?
いえ、何でもありません。
As soon as she unfreezes, she pulls the log out of her dress pocket and starts reading through it. She closes it and puts it back. Then, as if nothing had happened at all, she starts preparing dinner. While I'm waiting, I read through another part of the Eden documentation. Soon Atri comes over carrying a tray of plates and bowls. This is great. I was a little worried about some of the more avant-garde techniques that I saw her employing in the kitchen, but it's as delicious as always. I thought she was actually forgetting some stuff there, and that's why she had to look at her log. Did you learn to make this at the cooking club?
はい。水面に教わりました。
I see. When I fall silent, so does Atri. She makes no attempt to speak unless spoken to. Being around her like this makes my chest tighten agonizingly. I end up wanting more than anything to see those bounding emotions that she used to express, even if they merely were a facade. But it's no use. I just have to accept that this is the true face of a humanoid. The only reason I told her that I loved her was that I thought she had a heart that could love me back. That's all meaningless now. Past events that may as well not have happened. As I chew on the delicious food, tears start to well up in my eyes. The subtle, beautiful flavors make it all the more painful.
夏希さん。
Yeah? I'm so happy to hear her concerned voice that I can only let out the smallest of words. God damn it. She silently holds a pillow in front of her, the pillow embroidered with those 3 letters, yes.
今夜、いかがでしょうか。
How about what?
昨晩は眠れなかったようでしたので、夏希さんに安眠を与えるお手伝いをさせてください。
She pushes the pillow toward me.
さあ、どうぞ。
Atri, why do you have to tempt me like this? Gritting my teeth, I snatch the pillow from her and throw it down on the floor with the nose side upwards.
ノーですか。残念です。
The fuck you mean unfortunate? For a moment I think I see the ghost of a frown cross her face, but I know that that's just my imagination. Atri slowly picks up the pillow and returns it to the bed. Yeah, nothing's happening there. No sirree. Alrighty, I think we'll wrap it up there. Don't really have too much energy in me to do a longer recording session, unfortunately. So we'll wrap it up on that one. So 14 episodes in, yeehaw. The days are definitely ticking down, especially since a few have now gone by, and we now have our final goal in mind. This is really just the home stretch. How long of a home stretch this will be, I have no idea. But man, it's gonna be painful. It really is. It really is. I keep on getting reminded of plastic memories. It's gonna fucking suck. But thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.